share. Okay, here we go. Let's do that. All right.
Oh, wow.
Voila.
Nice going. Nice going.
I'll shut up.
When I can actually sit across from people, but yeah, I get it. Okay. Cool.
Okay, so can we just run through this quickly and check some things off that we've done and add things if we want?
Yep.
So the first top item here is an organization chart. We've got that as a low priority. Position descriptions for all employees, so that's done. The gray lines are done. Coordinate position descriptions, appoint responsibility. Okay, well, that's done. Okay, so we can make that done. Organizational analysis, org design. You know, that's something that we, you know, that's probably some kind of a conference that we have to have and just do an organizational design deep dive. So, then John was going to check on some organizational things with Willoughby. Conduct market. So right now, this is targeted for the 23rd.
Right.
We'll have all 17 position description. We've sent 17 position descriptions over that they're using for the survey, New Focus HR, and so they're busy at work trying to get all that information. Merit planning. Before we said we were going to wait till the survey results had been returned, right?
Right.
Hey, this one, Water Street Supervisor FLSA classification. Was there a change here, Bill? Was there versus exempt and non-exempt? To me, what we need to do is make all the police except for Mark Swistic and 2 water and 2 street as non-exempt. I mean, call it what we want. They can be superintendents, but in the way we've got them scheduled, they're going to be plowing snow tonight, and all 4 of them are going to be plowing. Okay, but did you have to talk with them about their status?
I didn't talk with them at the start.
Okay.
They found out that if exempt didn't meant no overtime, then I think they're happy to be non-exempt.
Okay.
Bill, you did talk to them because I was there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
You talked to Tom and Greg, and they're fine with it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think I talked to Mark Swistic directly, and he understands that his people, will get overtime.
Yeah, well, that was, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. And then we had a bunch of requests for raises for individuals. That again, all that's got to wait till after the market survey is completed.
That is correct.
Let's see, this guy, Mary Lou, what's the status on this guy? Discuss COBRA type benefits for, this is that.
Okay, well, I want to tell you something. And so I think it was last week, Mark Swistek left me a note and in the office. So I was looking at it, and I hate to say it was when I was on the town council. So this morning, Deanna and I looked for the ordinance because the thing that Mark found was never made into an ordinance nor signed, but it has almost everything we're looking for the COBRA, that we want them to contribute. We also, we want to put that in there. We want to say that if they found another job and they had health insurance, and Mark's been real helpful with what other people do, but this was our own ordinance. And Deanna went back, it was, the letter came from Jeff Thorne in December 16th, 2010. And it was never put in. So Laurel, I was talking to her, Laurel Kozinski, and she's on the Budget and Finance Committee. And she said before Mike Chastain retired, which I think he retired after Bill came in, so in 2012, the Budget and Finance Committee okayed, it must have never gone to the council, okayed for him not to have to contribute to his medical. Then that continued. So we do want to, I have the ordinance. All we have to do is say I can scan it and send it to everybody. We put our changes in, send it to Chris Willoughby, and we can probably have it on the March town council meeting.
So what, and what's it going to say? What's the?
Well, actually, I think it's very well written. We just need to add we need to put in about that they have to pay for their spouses, that they have to contribute. So let's say that the employees pay 20%, then they would be required to pay 20% as a retiree until they are eligible for Medicare. So when we're done, I'll scan it and send you the whole thing that Jeff Thorne wrote, but it was never signed. And we did go back this morning because I said to Deanna, we don't have to do anything except amend this. And she's like, it was never put in. She has a list of all of them. So
Okay.
I can scan it and send it.
That would be terrific.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. At one point, we said we should have some periodic time card audits and time card training for supervisors and employees. It's a medium importance, so nothing's been scheduled there.
Well, Mike, Mike, just so you know, which we can't discuss, but we were so lucky to have 2 audits running continuously this year, one for the water department and then one for the town and the water department. So that came up, and I'm sure as soon as we get our arms around this, there's only 11 employees. We'll be talking to them on how to fill out not how to fill out their time cards, but the new time cards that we put holiday pay where it goes, we put sick pay where it goes, we put vacation where it goes, and overtime where it goes. So
so Mary Lou, do we have a new time card for them to use?
No, because here's the that time card's with you and I, but one of the points that they can change the dates each pay period, then we can have them start on a Saturday. I think it was Saturday night through the 2 weeks, and then it ends on a Sunday. But Bill, I was in talking to Bill because I said, we need to get going on this. It's February already.
Yeah.
And the problem is the way the police department is paid is the way the time card, way Chris Turner set the time card up for me. However, the policy says something different. And Bill said he has always, since 2012, he's always paid overtime the way the time card reads. And so I think if we can, is it a policy, Bill, or an ordinance?
I think neither. I mean, it's a procedure that we've been doing. However, we had been reporting, everybody puts in either 84 hours in a 2-week period, the 80 hours for non-police, 84 for police, 7 12-hour shifts in a 2-week period. And the only time they get overtime is if they go beyond those shifts. Mark has reported now, so we're in compliance with the State Board of Accounts. Mark reports each of the 7 12-hour shifts by day for each of the 4 officers, with no vacation or no sick time. 4 84s add up to the to what we need for coverage for a whole month. In other words,
But wait a second, the issue.
42 times 4 gives us full coverage. 7 times 24. And so that's what we've got. And so he's been recording that and recording overtime then. So the overtime is now recorded. It's still recorded. But for example, this last pay period, which I did on Tuesday for Friday, it's effective Friday. We just had, I think, 2 or 3 hours of overtime. So
Wait, hey, Bill, that's all interesting, but the question is, do we have a consolidated time
no,
for employees?
no.
Okay, and I'm just trying to understand, so are we saying we're gonna continue to do that, or work on that, or is that
Until we
not doing that?
Yeah, we have to pay these people, so we have to continue to do this until we get a consistent, a one-time only, a one form fits all timesheet.
Okay, and Mary Lou, so are you in agreement with that? That we still need to create this sheet?
Yes,
No,
Yes,
Mary Lou.
we don't have 6 different time cards. I was just, while I was listening to you guys, I went back to look to see if I had, because there were 3 issues that Mike, that you had, and the one I can fix, and these young people that know Excel, that's just the dates you change every 2 weeks, and we can start it on a Saturday, it doesn't matter. We can fix that easily, but the logic was, if I remember this correctly, the way it reads is they have to work 28 days before they get overtime. Well, that's not how Bill pays it. He pays it after 14 days.
Oh, actually,
Right.
we're told he pays it every week. I mean,
Well,
it's calculated every day.
right.
So let's get back to the time card.
Well, that's what's holding us up from moving forward with sending out the memo, why we're doing it. Now we can put in there because we got audited. And then we can put in there, we had the memo already, like we want the building commissioner to sign Lou Mellons. We want Bill to sign Meg Collins. And then the park board will probably have Bill sign that too when summer comes or whenever they get paid.
Okay. And I apologize up front for saying this again, but we don't have either a document, a paper document that we can use, or an Excel spreadsheet that we can use that is not. So who's working on getting either a paper document or getting an Excel spreadsheet to do everything it needs to do?
Well, the Excel spreadsheet does do everything it's supposed to do.
No, it had, well, okay, we can talk about this later, I guess.
What do you think it doesn't do?
No, let's not get into that now. We can talk about that
Okay.
later. Okay, we'll go back up. So there was a question at one point, are bonuses versus annual raises allowed for non-exempt municipal employees? And the answer to that is bonuses for municipal employees are legal. So a town can give bonuses. But the issue with bonuses, I mean, the good news is they can be given. The bad news is they are very thorny, right? Because this is all public record. So now, Pete gets a bonus and Tom doesn't get a bonus, or it becomes very political. So anyway, we're not saying that we have to give bonuses, but they are legal, but they're very thorny. If you want
the other thing for all is that we did research this years ago, and bonuses are fine, but they have to be described in the salary ordinance. And,
Okay.
so that it's specific, that it's acceptable.
Okay. finalize market analysis questions, that was done. They have a whole, besides how much do you earn, they're asking, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 additional questions as they survey the 5 towns. So that's fine. Formalized request process and approval chain for all compensation changes. Oh, okay. This, I'm failing on this one. I have not, I got to work with either one of the town council people and Chris needs to be involved in some memo to our supervisors saying that any pay changes to any employees of the town should be approved by the town council. So I'm delinquent in this one.
We're going to have to cut your pay, Mike.
Yeah. Okay, creation and implementation of a consolidated, okay, we covered that one. Begin discussion regarding employee development for 2021.
Wait a minute, I got to find it. Hold on.
So, Mark, I know you've been doing some things, right?
Yes. I've been very, very busy in my first month.
Okay, all right. Busy's good. I mean, training's good. It just, you get to the end of the year and you can say, hey, I learned 3 new things I didn't know at the beginning of the year. That's or one thing or whatever. So, but I don't know.
I have a suggestion.
Good.
I think, oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, I said good.
Oh, okay. I have a suggestion that we could do this before our next meeting, that the supervisors sit down with their employee and say, you know what, I could think of maybe some computer training or just ask them what would help them do their job better, or something they'd like to learn. And I like the idea of 3 things or 3 different things that they could do. We know from the audit, one will be taking the training class on how to be compliant with that. So that'll be one of their objectives. But I'm not sure if we would do that with the seasonal employees, but I do think we should do it with the part-time and the full-time employees. And for instance, in the water department, I think they have to get recertified every so often. And then Tom has talked to me when I've been in the office that he would like to take some training on being an arborist, and then we don't have to always go look for one. So, I mean, I think they have some good ideas, and then they could, Brent or Tom could talk to Brent, and Greg could talk to Austin. And then really we don't have that many employees, and then Bill, Indiana, and then the water department could talk to Lynn about some things. So I think that one's doable, and I think it would make them feel better about their positions.
Well, who's going to drive? Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to give you an example of one of the things I did for the first 2 weeks of January. The first 2 weeks of January, I individually sat down with each deputy, went through a list of objectives with them, got a lot of feedback from them, sought their input on not only about themselves, about the department and the town. And then I informed them that on January 25th, we held a team meeting of all the full-time staff, allowing everybody to come together with all their ideas and that. And my goal is to do that semi-annually, if not more frequently. And I think it was well received by our employees. They felt that they have a buy-in and they were more appreciated in that. So that's just an example of what we did on our end.
Great.
You know, Mike, another thing is the chief sends out, I'm going to call it like, I don't know if it's a weekly meeting, but he sends out a recap of what they're working on. And it's nice because as a person that lives here and somebody asks me what's going on with that, at least, I mean, he's very open. He'll let us know that too, but it's nice. I read his report and think, oh boy, okay, this is good.
Okay.
For instance, he's going through, which I like, he's going through things that probably need to be disposed of. And it just triggers other things. So while he was in there today, I said, well, can they look at Deanna's, the old computer, and Lynn's, and let's see what we can do on that. So he's getting his arms around things and helping us get organized.
Good. Hey, so, and these are all good ideas. The problem is, who's gonna drive this to make sure we get training plans from the supervisors? Give them a deadline, give them a format.
If I can make a suggestion, I think it comes down to each department head being responsible to report back to the council. So by council directive, I would suggest that each of us department heads are made aware of what the wishes are of the council, and then we report back to them in a timely manner of completion of, the task.
Okay, so
That's always worked for me in previous years in my administration.
So when you're saying the town council, it should be part of their regular, maybe a quarterly report or something? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that the town council pushes something out to all the department heads saying that, these are things that the HR committee has asked each department head to complete. And then we as the department heads understand what our goals and our tasks are. And then we complete them and we give our timelines back to the council in some form of report. Doesn't necessarily have to be at a town council meeting, but we could email it back to the full council, assuring them that we've completed the task.
That sounds great. Who's going to make sure that happens, though? Because it's going to happen. We're going to say this is a great idea, and then it's not, and then.
Well, okay. Let me just walk through this. So, if the person that was going to drive it, would they? Like, for instance, Mark's here, or else, and then we'd send an email to Mark, Tom, Greg, Bill's here, but we'd still include Bill on it and say, as part of that came out with the Human Resource Committee, we think it would be in our best interest to have a training program set up for our employees, and then ask them to get back to us. Let's say by the next month. Is that what you're looking for?
Sure, that could be. I mean, it could be as simple as sending every quarter, sending out a piece of paper saying list the employee and what training they have, or maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
I think
List
twice
the
a year.
and say,
Yeah.
what training have they taken or are they going to take?
Okay.
But it's got to come back to somebody.
Okay, it can come back. I'm on the council. It can come back to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'll work on a note and just say, I need to think through this one.
Yeah. Terrific.
I think
Right.
quarterly is too much, though. I think
Quarterlies, because right after the first of the year, it's kind of nuts from just sitting in there with Deanna, with everybody has to get re-registered. And especially with the town being closed, it's not as easy to do things. And I think I'm not speaking for Deanna, but sometimes her hands are tied to have time off. But I would like to see all of them get some kind of training that they think would be beneficial to their job.
So twice a year, not too much? Report?
twice a year is fine.
Hold on, I gotta go get my battery. I'm getting low.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to drive people crazy with this, but we got to have some accountability, right? So that they know we're going to follow up on it. Okay, good. Is there anything we can give Mary Lou while she's gone? That's a joke. That was a
That's good.
All right, we're going to start. This we should take up immediately. The orientation schedule.
Okay, so what we said twice a year, so maybe April and October, they'll report back.
That's okay with me. You
Okay.
keeping it away
Does
from
that
the
sound-
year is probably good.
Bill, does that sound doable? And Mark?
Yeah. I think the thing is we've got a street department with one employee and a superintendent. We've got a water department with 2 employees and a superintendent. Clerk treasurer with a deputy, and Mark has got 5 employees besides himself.
Well, and we would want the street and the water superintendents to also have something they would think would be beneficial.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
Bill
Okay.
helped me with this. They go to now it's virtual, but they go to is it AW? It's an acronym has to do with water. I know that. And Tom goes to street school in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
That's the,
Okay. All right. So thanks for taking that on, Mary Lou.
okay.
Okay. All right. So I wish Georgetta was here.
I am here now.
Oh, great.
Yes, I'm
Perfect.
sorry, but I had a difficult time getting in.
No, that's okay. So we're at this item here in terms of this public creating a public awareness campaign for Mark.
Did you get a chance, Mike, to look at her 2 emails that came in around lunchtime?
No.
Oh, Georgetta, I was going to send, she did a beautiful job. She's got 2 emails
Oh, you're nice.
talking about how to introduce Mark.
Okay.
I mean,
Do you want to tell us about those, Georgetta?
Okay. Well, the first one, it's just really sketchy, but the let me see.
you want me, I can get my iPad and read it, Georgetta. Do you have it?
I thought I had printed it out and it didn't
Okay,
come
just
out.
let me get it.
Yeah, the only thing I have is the questions that were to be asked. But I just did a little short sketch of an agenda for the Zoom meeting. Okay, Mary.
Yeah, just a minute. I got it.
I actually found it. You want me to read it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, Bob May here. Zoom questions to the Chief Marshal. Is that correct, Georgetta?
There were 2 of them. One was Zoom questions to the Chief Marshal, and the other was the agenda for the actual Zoom meeting.
Oh, you know what? I didn't get that second one then.
Oh, wait a minute. Georgetta, the one, Bob, are you on Bob LeMay?
I am.
Oh, good. So you got the questions for him?
Yes.
Let me read you the draft then. It says format, Zoom platform. Mike, as the chairman, may say a few words of welcome and how the event will proceed. Time, she says, 45 to 50 minutes. Dr. LeMay to preside over the approximate 45 to 50 minute closely paced program. Moderator, Mike, Bill, or Dr. LeMay. Outline of agenda. Expression of appreciation for the retiring chief and acknowledgement of his service to the community. Introduction of Chief Marshal Swistek. Chief Swistek presentation. Though Chief Swistek is an experienced speaker, the questions below can be used as a set of points that he can use in his presentation and or can be developed into questions asked before entertaining at least 5 questions proffered by the audience and managed by a HR committee member. Dr. LeMay will make the closing remarks, and then a follow-up public event. An up close and personal with the chief can be planned as a drive-by through the neighborhood or a town center drive-through by the neighbors as part of the 4th of July parade or a walk during the town picnic on the 14th. These and other suggestions may emphasize the visible and strong community role of this town's police officers, a model that other communities can adopt and build upon other successful models. So the other one, if I can say another thing, Mike,
Yeah.
I would like to, before we even get that done, I think the chief reminded me, been there a month already. I can't believe that, but I would like to follow what we did for Chief Silkowski and have an article in the news, the Port Herald Dispatch or whatever it's called now, and then the Beecher. I just think that would be because now they know the Chief Silkowski's retired. So let's have a presentation of who our new chief is.
Well, I think Mark has written that already, right, Mark?
Well, he's probably just waiting for us to okay it. Or to,
I did write a intro letter, and it just needs to be tweaked a little bit probably now. But otherwise, yeah, it's ready to go. Just take me a minute or two to make some changes.
so
Okay.
can I suggest, because I think Bill is the one that coordinated the last one with the News Dispatch. Bill, is that right? You did? You coordinated it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I would think we'd want him to do that. And then, Mark, do you know Drew Telehecht? Do you know him at the Beecher?
Yeah, Drew and I have worked together before. Yes, I
Okay.
know him quite well.
I think it would be a nice, well, and if everybody else agrees too, that would just be, it's kind of a follow-up. Here's our new chief.
Most definitely. You know, since the Beecher comes out, on a regular basis, it would be great to have him really on the front page and have a big article written about him. And, and then we have the public forum later on.
All right. So with regard to the publication of the letter that Mark has written already, or some other interview, Bill and or Georgette or Bill, which of you can work on that? I mean, get that
That's
done.
fine. They did, of course, some of you, I hope all of you saw it, they did, the Beecher did do an article on Chief Solkowski and
Yes,
announced
that was a good article.
to pass the mantle and have Mark's on there. And to Mark's credit, he wanted to stay in the background until Bob marched off stage, but now we want to trumpet Mark Swistek.
Right.
This also might be a good time for us to finally give Chief Solkowski his plaque and his retired police chief badge. Do we have those yet?
Yeah, he's already apparently been, he hasn't gotten his plaque, but he has been granted, he has those now, but we can snatch them back from him and give it.
No.
And give, well, no, but I mean.
No, I think we're done with Bobby. Now the focus is on Mark.
Okay,
Well,
all right.
We're moving forward here. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Mike, if I could add something real quick.
Yeah.
To Dr. LeMay's question, Dr. LeMay, you're correct. Chief Stokowski received his badge and his retirement ID, so he does have that. However, I asked him about his plaque, if he would like that presented at a Zoom council meeting, like coming up this Monday or next month, and he asked that the plaque be presented to him at his retirement on March 28th from, I think it's 2 to 6 out at the country club. They're going to have a retirement celebration for him there. And he said it would be appropriate if someone could just present him with his plaque at the retirement celebration at the country club.
Okay.
Great idea.
So Bill and I discussed it, and Bill asked Chief Solkowski, and his preference was to do it at his celebration on the 28th of March.
Okay. And the plaque.
If I could make.
So it's in my office, ready to be presented on the 28th of March.
So Mike, getting back to what we were discussing, reference myself, a couple of suggestions. One, if I could make some changes to my introduction letter, and maybe if that could be posted to the town website. Also, then I can share it with the Beecher when they reach out to me, and then they can incorporate it into their article as much as they want, if they want to take a paragraph or two out of it. But otherwise, maybe if my letter could go on to the town website, I think maybe that would be appropriate as well.
Yep.
And then Bill, what about the mass email distribution list that the water department has? Could possibly my letter be sent to that mass email distribution list as well, possibly? That may reach more people as well.
Oh, Mark, it's not, the water board doesn't have a mass email list. We get people's emails, but we give them to Bill. Bill has that one. So
Okay.
Yes, I
So,
think we do have the town has a mass email list, though, yes,
that'd be great.
about 600 people, so.
Because some of those people aren't full-time residents, so that'd be even better.
and Bill, occasionally if I get something that I want to share of importance in that, then it's okay to send it to you via email and then you'll get it out.
Yeah. Just yesterday, I think I sent something that the water department asked me to do relative to pipes and the upcoming freeze that we've got. So yeah, it's easy to do.
All right, thank you.
Your benefit everybody has promised that everything is sent blind carbon copies, so no emails are shared amongst the individuals. That you should only get an email with the town in there. They know it's a blast, but their email is not shared with any other participant.
So Mark, what are your thoughts about so we were talking about the Zoom meeting, using Zoom for a live conversation or whatever you want to call it. Is this something that you're warm and fuzzy to, or is this?
No, I'm very much open to it. I'm just trying to think how we're going to possibly reach the most participants in that. So I don't know if we maybe tack it on to a tail end of a council meeting, or do we do it separately, or do we do it before a council meeting for maybe a half hour or so? An hour might be a little too long, I think, for a Zoom like that, unless we do get a lot of participation.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we tag it on to, our monthly council meeting for like March or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
or April, whenever. I'm just trying to think out loud here.
Yeah.
That would be
Well,
to make
okay.
it separate from the council.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Bill?
My suggestion would be to make it separate from the council meeting. I think the council meetings can be ponderous at best, and I think actually could think about people would be more interested in hearing about Mark Swistek than whether we've picked up garbage off the street or whatever it is. I mean, I think you could get more interest if it would just be a 45-minute introduction to the chief.
Yeah. Hey, and you know what we could do with the printed material that we're going to put out? If we can have the date of the Zoom meeting, we could put it in all the printed material, all the printed material that we're going to send out.
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
But I know Bob LeMay's on here. He can help us with that because he could set it up. So if Mark would look at his calendar, look out and see when's the best date. And also, I would hope that all the council people could Zoom, not to speak, but for support.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So Bill and Bill, Georgetta,
Yeah.
Mark, can you guys figure out a date and time offline, and then let us know what that might be? Obviously, it should be a good time so that people in the community can dial in.
Like if we did at 6 o'clock one evening sometime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
That's good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, Georgetta, I'm open to any dates. So just whatever's convenient for you guys as a group, I can make it work. I don't have too many plans in the near future here.
For right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
April,
Well, right
May will be-
now would be a good time to set up the date because everyone is here. So what's convenient for everyone?
I'll make myself available. It doesn't matter to me. You can dial in from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Are we shooting for March?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Well, the publications won't come out till when?
When should Beecher go out the next time?
Yeah, the deadline, wait a minute. hold on. The deadline for the Beecher is 11 o'clock on Friday. But if I were you, I'd try to have it in there in the morning. So we could, if at the very latest, it could be the Beecher in 2 weeks, but if we get it in by tomorrow, or
So that's still February though. So that's,
yeah,
so March sounds good. So March sounds like mid-March sounds good.
yeah. And then I think that's a great idea. And then when it gets closer, have Bill send out that email again, just as a reminder, because people forget. If it's too far in advance, they forget about it. But if it's also on the town website, which people look at, then that'll be helpful.
What if we did like Wednesday, March 10th, something like that, middle of the week?
That's perfect.
That'd be the week after the council meeting and that, going into the second week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Okay. And the reason why I said 45 minutes was that sometimes questions take a little long, and I was including that short something to say about the former chief, just a little something, and then the introduction for our new chief.
Mhm.
And the questions in itself could or could not take longer. It might take 20 minutes.
Yeah. It depends if they're asking questions or giving speeches.
Right.
So Georgetta, will we have like virtual cookies and punch?
You know what? I was thinking, how could we pull that off? But we would have to wait, and I suggested at the end of the email that we can do something, like during the parade or, during the picnic or whatever.
Yep.
So that way, maybe we could have a little something special there.
Yep. All right. Let's take one step at a time. We'll get the
And
publication.
Georgetta, Bob LeMay, if you could just send me a copy of that agenda for that event, okay? It doesn't look like I got it.
Oh, okay. You know what happened? I think I might have slipped and put an I instead of an L
Oh, yeah.
in your email. And so, so I'll check on that.
Yeah,
Do that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's good. Let me close this. Okay, so, screen sharing has stopped as the shared window is closed. Okay, I don't know why that happened. So now I got to go, I guess, and share again. Screen share. Okay. Can you see this now?
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, so we made progress there, and then I guess this guy, create a list of all living past town council members, employees, commission members, volunteer firefighters, et cetera, for the Long Beach Centennial Celebration. Bill, what do you have on that?
I don't know how to do that. Okay, I mean, it's going to take some amount of history. There's nothing I don't have files that are listed by. I mean, I can go back and get all that. I guess all that the commission members and everything else, but it's not. It's something that I can do, but it's not something that's high priority right now. So I get, the problem that I've got is that I have to go back into actually old ordinances and everything else and see who signed them, because we didn't keep a history of all of those. But the date is, I'm sure, can be dragged out, but it's just something that I haven't done.
Who is Debbie? Debbie was a historian or something. Who is this?
And Debbie's dropped off the face of the earth. I tried to get her interested in the centennial, which is also something that's kind of slipped through the cracks, and I can't seem to get her to respond. So
Yeah, I thought that's what we were talking about, right?
Mhm. She's,
Centennial.
her dad was the principal at the old school, or Long Beach School, but just a side note, Mike and the committee, the Long Beach Civic Association is planning on, well, we have a Zoom meeting, and we still don't know whether we'll have a parade, fireworks, or picnic because of the COVID, but we are looking at having a T-shirt because it's 100 years. And so we are in the process of, I'll know more after a week from Friday. I'll know more about that, but I'm not, I was trying to think, the only problem I have with it is that what if we accidentally forget somebody? Of course, I was glad you said living. But a lot of times the commissions, they never serve that long and we may not have a record of that. And I'm sure the fire department could give us who's on the fire department, and then people that you're probably semi-retired that, don't respond to fire. So I think that one might be easier, but with Bill, that would take a lot of work to
All right,
find.
so Bill, it sounds like we should cancel this, right?
To me, the problem with what Mary Lou said is what bothers me is that there's somebody going to be offended and they've been here for 10 years and they just fall off the radar. We erase records after 5 years. And so I'm just not sure whether we're going to get all the living employees are going to be the hardest. And if I'm a park employee, is that part of the team?
Okay, so as far as we're concerned, the Human Resource Committee is doing nothing on any type of a centennial celebration.
Yeah.
Okay?
But Mike,
Yes.
Mike, the point is that an oral history can be obtained. You can put out something, and this was done in the town that my parents were born in, and they put out a notice of people to bring or to give the oral histories that they know of. And I think we ought to do it now because it would be sad to lose a lot of that history. And even though it's incomplete, people are always invited to amend that, as they get the information in. But it's important to have that oral history.
That's an idea. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone that has the interest or energy to do that. That's the problem.
Well, as we gather information, you can have a repository somewhere. And as we gather that information, we compile it and, there'll be a time when someone will be interested.
Who's the we and you? That's the problem. We have a blank here.
Yeah. I would be willing to help, but only with someone else who knows, because I'm very new here. And I don't know people here, but if there's anyone who's willing to do it, then I will help.
One of the suggestions I would have is that, I like what Georgetta suggested, that maybe, we can solicit through the newspaper people who wish to do that. Somebody may come back and say, I was here when the bench that's in near the tennis courts was established. I think that would be more meaningful than lists of employees and everything else. So I think that oral history is maybe we just need to solicit from people and see whether they would come forward with their stories.
We could do that in another mass emailing.
I think that's something that would be easier to accomplish with the mass email.
And that way, those people are electing to participate.
Right.
Okay. I like that. All right. I will send out a mass email. I'll talk to Georgetta and see whether we can come up with some ideas from what you've seen from other communities and maybe
right.
kind of craft the email in such a way that will draw people out. And
The other thing I was thinking of, and I don't know if the Beecher still does this, but of course, if you have children, you always save at Christmas time or any time little kids would write in. So this could be like, what that they've been good, and I saved them. Obviously, I'm going to get rid of some of that stuff, but it's kind of nice for people in the Beecher to read, like what Georgetta's saying. Like, I was here when there used to be a pool I think the pool is by the tennis courts. Everybody tells me. And, or I was, like Bill said, I was here when we actually went to school at the old school. And so maybe after we see what interest it is, maybe we could have a way to publish it. And if nothing else, mail it out to people.
Great.
Exactly. And one thing that always intrigued me were those pictures that are painted on the wall in the old school. And it would be nice to even have that interspersed into that document and to explain what that was about, the meaning, it was to the community. And that could also be a little space where people might even have artifacts that they might say, well, this was here and it meant something, so, and to have just a little project for later on, way down the road, where you can have almost like a showcase or a little museum or something. So, but that's something down the road. And that's something to bring the community together. People nowadays are really into talking about, well, I was here, and they're coming back to Long Beach and just what it meant to me. So that nostalgia is really big right about now.
Yep. Good. Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Welcome.
The paid time off policy, we've got a deadline of June 30th on this one. You know what? I'll commit to work on that and deliver something way before the 30th. Just see what other towns are doing and things like that. Okay, so I don't even know if this is something that we have to, it sounds like we have enhanced communications by soliciting resident email addresses. Is that done? I mean, do we have that or?
well, we used to have it, Mike. It used to be a little more robust because people would come in to pay, to pay a bill or to do something, and they'd see a sign-up sheet there, and we'd get, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 a week. But of course, there's no walking in now. I got an email today from somebody saying, "Could you put me on the list?" So it's not quite as prevalent now. And of course, sending out an email to a bunch of people saying, that are already on the list is not going to, I mean, I suppose I could do that and ask them if they're your neighbors want to get that. Could you have them send an email to this address and see that? But it used to build a little more. Right now, I haven't added very much. I've got 75 names in news, town news, and then town news A through I. So there's about an average of 70 names in all of those. So my math is not good. A through I is probably another 10, right? A through E, F, G, H, I, 9. So I've got 10 groups of about 70 names each. And, but I haven't added very many to Town News I in the last 6-8 months because of COVID. But it used to grow to the point where I had to keep adding. The system will not, does not like to send out emails to large groups because it assumes it's a marketing email and it stuffs it. But but we do that, but I haven't added names.
Okay, so does anyone have energy to work on this?
I guess I'm just wondering if people, basically the ones we don't have are people who've recently moved to the community in all likelihood. Could we put something on like the water bill and say, if you recently moved to the community, could you send us your email address?
Well, here's the thing, and the water department last March sent out notices on different things, and then we asked them to update their profile in case they had a leak or a frozen pipe. And so then we ask for their email, and then we ask if we can share it with the town. And if they said yes, then Bill got a copy.
Oh, good.
I'm not sure there's room on the water bill, but we could put it on the website because younger people go right to the internet and look up stuff, and we could put that. I'm not even sure if it's on there. I'd have to look.
That would be a good idea, though, because
Yeah, maybe.
also explain to them that these emails are not shared between, that all emails come out to the recipient only.
I can talk to Meg Collins about putting that on the website.
That'd be great.
I think that's a cool idea.
And then ask him to send it to the deputy or the chief, send it to Bill.
Yeah.
And then he can add them. And maybe Bill keep track of how many we get from there so we can see.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 But monthly human resource committee. Oh, okay. This is done. Thanks to Bob LeMay
And Meg.
and Meg.
Yeah, Meg's going to do all the work. I'm just going to tell her what to do.
So then the other one, and this doesn't have to be solved today, but we really should have I believe, a focused repository on the town website for HR documents. For example, the employee handbook, relevant employee-related town resolutions, open positions, salary structure, salary surveys, and things like that. But this is not necessarily high priority stuff. I mean, and it could even be employees only. I don't care where it is, but they shouldn't have to look around or not find something because we haven't organized it.
Right.
Okay. So the other issue that, let's see how we doing, 3 o'clock. So Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about the holiday overtime time cards you've been working on?
Before we do that, I want to bring up, I shared with Dr. LeMay previously too, I've got a concern on the sick days within the police department too. And we've talked about that before because currently they receive 6 sick days a year, but they're actually using them as vacation days. And previously they were getting paid for them. So obviously I'm having to, backfill 24 additional shifts when you have 4 deputies, 6 days each. So there's the 24 days. I would like to see the committee maybe recommend to the town council that we return to paying them for at least a couple of their days like it was previously in place that may discourage, the usage of the sick days, or allowing them to bank them or coming up with some kind of policy. Because last year, I'm finding that Chief Smokowski allowed 2 of the deputies to carry over vacation days, but then they used all their sick days. So now I have additional vacation days going on top of, last year's vacation days, but then all the sick days were used.
Okay. So, so that may be part of this paid time off idea. It's simply everybody gets X amount of days off. That includes sick, that includes vacation, that includes
Personal.
Like PTO, personal time off, PTO time.
paid time off.
Yeah, or paid time off, yeah. So that's what a lot of major corporations and that are moving to. I know the hospital does that. A few other, businesses do the same thing. And then you get away from personal days, vacation days, sick days. You're given X number of hours a year. That's what you have. And then, you go from there. So.
The issue.
Bill, didn't the budget and finance?
Yeah. Can I kind of give a little background on why they disappeared? When I came here in 2012, I found that the police, for their sick days, when they saved them up, they got time and a half times 12 hours because somebody had written a policy called it days. And so, and I had issue with the fact that a day of vacation, so they could even get their days of vacation. So the water and street guys could only get 8 hours times 5 for days, and the police got 12 hours. And you don't take a vacation in a shift; you take a vacation, days of vacation. So it turned out that it was written in such a way that it provided, it was more the animosity to the police guys who got 50 to 75% more than the other people. I just found it was so if we write it in such a way that it's fair and equitable, then I think we could probably reconstruct it. But when they would sell back a week's vacation, they would get paid, and the police would get paid for 60 hours, and the street and water guys would get paid for 40. If that makes sense to you, Mark, we got it.
It does.
But it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, when your vacation, you don't take them in shifts. You have a day of vacation. So. Right. If I can, if we can get to something that I don't think is going to be a problem between employees, then I think we could probably construct something that's equitable.
And getting back to the sick days, the thing here is we don't want to have a policy that makes people lie, right?
Yes.
It tells you that they're sick and they're not sick, they're just trying to cash in a day of time off. That's not good because the people know they're lying. We know they're lying. It's bad. So let's see if we can come up with something that doesn't force people to not tell the truth.
Yeah, what I'm finding is that they're scheduling sick days weeks in advance. I mean, which for me is better because otherwise here comes the problem. If somebody calls in sick tomorrow on the midnight shift and I can't find somebody to work, then yours truly is working it. And then my entire schedule is upside down, and which I have no issues, filling in from time to time, but 24 days a year that I'm just going to be throwing to the wolves that, all of a sudden somebody called in sick tonight and then tomorrow I got a backfill, that would be a nightmare. So there's got to be a better way of managing it. I know I used the example before, like in Michigan City, we just got paid for 10 sick days a year. If we didn't use any sick days in a year, they would pay us for the first 10 days. They would give us 12 a year. But we would get paid at our standard straight rate for 10 days, which is an extra 2 weeks of pay. And a lot of us, like myself, in 29 years, I didn't take any sick time because I took my 2 weeks extra pay every year. But there was the benefit to seeing that monetary side of it. For these guys, they see it as, additional time off currently. It's 6 extra days of vacation. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to work on this. Maybe we can talk sometime and sort through what might work for the police department and everyone else.
Sure.
Okay. So do you want to talk about the 2 time cards that you've pulled together, or?
Yeah, those additional time supplement cards that I sent out today would be in addition to what Mary Lou is proposing on the timesheet across the board for the entire town. I like having uniformity where the entire town's going to be using the same timesheet. The form that I shared with you would be an additional form that I would use in-house to track requests for vacation, requests for overtime that's been submitted. It'll track the part-time hours for our part-time employees. And then that'll be like the timesheet that would be used by Renee to tally up the payroll before we fill out the final payroll sheet going to Bill. So, and it would just be a backup so that we have an extra set of records related to payroll, vacation, sick. It'll just be a great way of us for tracking. Because right now, it'd be a nightmare for me to go through the previous records that were left for me to try and figure out when a sick day was taken, a vacation day. Where if I could go to one employee's file and pull all these time supplemental cards for the year, I can tell you from January to December, what they took each month.
Mhm.
So it's more or less, for me, it's going to help, I think, with my record keeping. And then I still want to do the time sheet, that the town is going to have. I think that'll, be our final sheet we get into Bill every week.
Yeah. So, I mean, comments? Did anyone have some thoughts on this?
Nope, sounds reasonable.
Then it helps with the vacation tracking. It'll be used for like a vacation request form. You'll see that bottom half. Obviously, that page would be cut into half. The forms would be a half a sheet. So the bottom one's an example of a 2-day vacation request. The employee would fill out their name, the dates that they want to request vacation. They'll put the dates that they're requesting vacation on. I would sign it as being approved and then the date that I approved it. And then I've got a record to show when they requested vacation and then I approved their vacation.
So this is to schedule days, not report taken off.
No, it's multi-use. It'll be the scheduled days. It'll be for overtime. It'll be for sick. It's kind of a one-stop shop that covers all of the, compensatory time on the police side of the house. So.
And this isn't my area of expertise, but I know in time cards in the private sector, you've got to account for hours. I mean, you got to say from 5 to 7.
Right. And if you look, Mike, at that top one, if you go down just a little bit, that top one is an example of 2 hours of overtime. And it says right on there, a late accident report. It shows when did the overtime start. It started at 6 p.m. When did the overtime end? It ended at 8 p.m. There's a spot on there to put the report number from the accident report. The employee would sign it. They would then turn it in to me. I would then sign it, approve it. I would give it to Renee. And then the 2 hours would be tabulated at time and a half. And then it would go onto the payroll records for the biweekly and that. And then if anybody ever questions, why did so-and-so have 2 hours of overtime back on February 4th? I can pull the time supplemental cards and I can show the reason wasn't an accident report and the hours were from 6 to 8. And this is the accident report number from that actual call.
So if this was 8:15 or 8:30 or 8:40, it would reflect partial parts of an hour.
Yeah, anything after 15 minutes goes to the next half hour. So if they put down 6:15, I would ask they do 6:30. That's just the way we do it. Anything after quarter after goes to the next half hour. So
yeah, sounds like a good way of tracking this.
It's a form that I used in Michigan City and it was successful. I used it for many, many years. And so I kind of adjusted it to fit, for out here. And like I said, for me, I'm comfortable with it. I just want to share it with the team. I think it's just a better way of tracking and accountability. So if State Board of Accounts were to come in, I can pull all of these and I can show on an employee basis timekeeping records for each employee. So.
Great. Any other thoughts on this?
Just for me to say that even though our timesheet is incomplete, I have for the first 3 payrolls of 2021 an exact recording of each of the shifts, which is what the State Board of Accounts wanted for the last several years, each of the shifts that were worked by the four guys on the street. So I'm saying here. So we've got that. Now, maybe the form will change, but the recording will not. So I'm very pleased with what, and I think we'll get cut a break if we're doing it in 21, even if we didn't do it in 20. And so I compliment Mark. So.
Great.
Thanks, Bill. We actually have an Excel spreadsheet that I have Renee keeping also that Deputy Babcock drafted for me. And so we have an Excel spreadsheet backing up what we're giving the bill as well. So we've got it backed up 2 different ways. So there's no way State Board of Accounts can say we aren't doing it properly. We've got it backed up 2 different ways. Even including myself, I'm filling out a bi-weekly timesheet, putting down my hours for Bill as well. So they're seeing when and where I'm working as well.
Great.
Mark has been putting in for overtime and he's getting paid none of it.
Nothing. No, just Bill's humor. So we keep each other laughing each day. So.
Okay, so is there anything else we should, that we need to discuss or add to our list here?
No?
Mike, I have one thing. I'm going to work on this email or this thing about objectives or three things for our employees. Does the committee want me to include like Steve Sachs, it's just works Saturdays, the part-time BZA/APC secretary, trying to think of who else, and do you want me to include those in, training?
I wouldn't on my behalf for Steve.
Okay, that's perfect. Then you'll get the letter you'll get my memo. You're already doing it, but just so you're included on the email list.
Okay. What else?
I think that's it.
Let's roll. Okay.
Georgetta, anything else from you?
Nope, that's it. This is a good meeting.
All right.
Yes.
John, Bob?
We're still waiting for the report, the salary survey, right?
Yep. Wait.
23rd.
Be with us
23rd.
23rd.
Okay.
So Bob, do you have any snow out there?
Yeah, we got 15 inches last night.
You're kidding.
So I went out there and just played in the snow.
Well, we're getting it right now, so take your time. Wow.
Yeah, it was good. It's supposed to get more tonight too.
Oh, good.
Oh.
All right, good. Well, thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, congratulations again,
Thank you.
Chief. Yes. Let me get it
Thank you
there.
so much, Georgetta.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Next meeting's in March.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All
Right.
right.
Bye.
Good night.